How's it going, my truant people? Dr. Slacking, the Slacking Doctor, back with the draft analysis for your Bristol Drifloons in the UBL, and I'm smiling as I say that because this is our brand new team name. We're no longer repping the Bowline Bovines, we are now the Bristol Drifloons. Our first league under that title. It's pretty interesting. UBL is one of my favorite leagues around. All the relevant links for all the other coaches will be down in the description. There's an incredible coach lineup, and the Twitter and everything will be linked down in the description as well, so you can follow that and get tweets for people's videos, etc. We had first pick in this draft. Now UBL, this is my third season in it. Made semi-finals, I think twice, or did I make quarterfinals once? I don't know. Either way, been knocked out, I think, by the eventual champion in both seasons of playoffs. So yeah, just been a fun league that I really enjoy and look forward to in my calendar every season or every year. And we had pick 1. Now, I'm incredibly lucky. Some people who know me will know this. I get first pick too much. It's actually my third time having first pick in this generation. The other 2 times I took Mega Alakazam and Dragapult. I didn't want to use Dragapult again, really. And my front office were highly pushing for me to take Single Strike Urshifu. So that's what we took. It wasn't the most expensive tier. I think it's a really impressive one. I think it's really good. I think it super suits my playstyle. I love strong fighting types. I love strong dark types. And I love building dark psychic fighting cores. And this is 2/3 of that core already. So yeah, really interesting mon. Obviously, great clickbait. So you gotta love that. I don't know how I'm going to get on with it. Like, I didn't want to have a high pick in this draft. I know that sounds stupid, and I am excited to use Urshifu, but I wanted to pick, like, Hydreigon close to back wheel and do something like that. I had a whole draft plan ready to go. Didn't work out. So, yeah, I just threw that in the bin, said to my front office, all right, we've got Urshifu, what are we going to do next? On the next wheel, I wanted to do Gengar Corviknight. I couldn't believe they were both on the board. I thought they were both sensational. I wanted to do that, but my front office was like, no, we're going to build a draft with real synergy here. We're not just going to go super top heavy. We're going to go real synergy, and they were absolutely screaming at me to pick up Scolipede. Now, some of you that have been in leagues with me off the channel will know I used Scolipede in ABC, which was my own league with Nico many moons ago. I used this thing in Gen 7, and it's like one of the best mons I ever used. But I used it with Z moves, and I've been scared to draft it without Z moves because I don't know if I can recreate the insane like kill stats that I had with this thing. And I'm scared that I'm going to disappoint myself if I use it again, because I ran a Z move on it every week and got a KO with the Z move every week. So yeah, a little bit nervous about using this one, but hopefully I can make it do some work. It pairs really nicely with Urshifu beating down the fairies for Urshifu and Urshifu beating down the steels for this, etc. So really interesting pair. And then to partner them as well, we picked up Primarina. Very intrigued by this thing. I think it's really good. I've got to use it in mocks and stuff. I think it's very strong. I think its special attack is the highest base stat of any starter, right? I don't think anything has a stronger single stat starter Pokemon than this thing's special attack, which is insane. It's so strong. Great stabs. Obviously, the Tapu Fini type combination. Flip turn makes this thing a really interesting pivot now. Yeah, I think this thing could be really strong. So you can see, like, I haven't gone too top heavy, right? We've gone 140, 120 with these two for the points. But we have interesting mons. A lot of offense. And we're going to continue that into the next pick. This is more like a draft announcement. I'm not going to super analyze this. Just going to show you the team. We'll analyze it more as we play and then after the season finishes. So next we pick up Porygon. Combining this thing with Urshifu makes for a wall-breaking core that just nothing switches in on. You run this thing with Specs and Urshifu with a band and everything dies. Everything just dies. So Porygon Z is actually a thing I've won a championship with before. It is so strong. It's so strong, so good. I love this thing. I've drafted it multiple times. It's kind of the mon that I think in my front office, it's the only mon I can think of that we all unanimously agree on is fantastic. If you meet anyone that's drafted Porygon Z, you'll meet a fan of Porygon Z. Like, it converts people is what it does. That's why it's the signature move. Next up, Talonflame. This was supposed to be Noivern, and I'm still fuming about this. This pick here, this was supposed to be Noivern and Magnezone. These were supposed to be these two picks. Both got sniped. Vepsis took my Noivern. So I had to go with Talonflame because I still wanted a fast flying type. I still wanted the speed. There isn't a ton in this restricted decks, so Talonflame fills that role. I've used Talonflame in the low tier tournament, which you guys saw on the channel. It's really good. It's really good. So I'm okay with this. Those points are not right. It was not 180 points. Shout out to Auto. He made these slides. He's made a typo there, but that's fine. I think it was 100 points. So Gives us a lot of speed. Combining it with Porygon's pretty nice too. So we have right now U-turn and Urshifu, flip turn and Primarina, teleport with Porygon, and U-turn with Talonflame. So we've got a real nice like offensive kind of core with some setup, with Nasty Plot, Bulk Up, Sword Stance, Bulk Up, like Calm Mind. We've got all these different things going on. So lots of different setup options. Not a lot of bulk, you may notice. Like, this is definitely leaning offense, and we're going to continue that. As I said, I wanted Magnezone. Fortunately, I had to go with Magneton. It's fine. Magneton is still fantastic. Magnezone is better, in my opinion, but this was cheaper. I don't really mind. I honestly, there's not much to choose between them for me. I do think Magnezone is better, but the value you get from Magneton is worth as well. So, and speaking of value, after picking up this to trap those steel types, we picked up something else that beats down steel types. Steel types that want to come from Porygon and Scolipede have to deal with Urshifu, they have to deal with Talonflame, they have to deal with Magneton, and now they have to deal with Colossal. Now, you can see this was only 20 points. This was a super early Colossal. I get that. Round 7 Colossal feels too early, but 20 points. Like, we all agreed, my front officer all agreed, like, this thing's definitely worth more than 20. Maybe it's only 40, maybe it's 60. We're not 100% sure. We haven't all used it. But rocks, spikes, rapid spin, this thing's actually really interesting. The fact that you don't want to click a fire move against it or it will get +6 speed. The combination of like Edge Quake is always really, really strong, especially with Fire Stab as well. So yeah, interesting Pokemon. It might not come to many games, but for this value, like we thought we had to snap it up early. So I'm hoping I can do a lot with Colossal. I'm hoping we'll see some work from this thing. Speaking of good rockers and things that do work, Piloswine, one of the best sort of cheap rockers in the format. I think most people would be agreed that this thing's one of the best ground types you can get below 100 points, if not the best, along with things like Rhyperior and stuff. Ice Shard Priority I felt was really, really nice for this team. I had been kind of considering picking up Mamoswine if it was one of those ones that got overlooked and dropped around, say, like 5 or 6 maybe. I might have picked that up, but I felt like Piloswine is arguably even better for this team in terms of being a more bulky, reliable rocker that I can just splash on as many teams as I want and get rocks up as many times as I want with this thing. But the Ice Shard Priority for offensive dragons and stuff I thought was really, really nice, and setup threats, because right now the problem with drafting this team is that Piloswine is really our first proper tanky mon on the team. Things like Colossal, Talonflame, Primarina, you can build them to take a hit, but this is our first thing that is a pseudo wall on the team. And I think that what that means is that we're quite weak to like setup spam. I'm not going to have a lot of phasing on here. And if you want to run something like offensive Scolipede versus this team, would be horrifying, right? Offense killers are going to be really good versus me. So I think that Ice Shard Priority really helps with that. Gale Wings Priority on Talonflame really helps with that. Sucker Punch on Urshifu helps with that. In general, like priority and phasing is the best way to kind of deal with these offense killers. So I like it for that. We do add another wall though as we pick up another pig boy, another fat boy. We get Appleton here. I'm really excited to use Appleton. This is one thing that during the draft I kept being like, is Appleton good? Should we try Appleton? Ben was really, really insistent that we try Appleton. Again, thick fat is really, really nice. Double thick fat is cool with Piloswine plus Appleton. The typing's pretty nice. Gives us another good water resist to help out Primarina. Otherwise, we were quite Scald weak if you look at this team, especially with double fire. So this thing's an incredible Scald switching. And with the thick fat, it isn't so weak to Ice Beam as you would expect. So yeah, I think it can do work. And then we do pick up our kind of third and final Scald switching in Starmie, again with Natural Cure, meaning we can switch out and kind of recover those burns or heal off those burns. This one's actually put in at 20 points to balance out the points, I guess, on the earlier era. It actually was 120, I think. I mean, you can see Talonflame's been adjusted down to 100. I'm not sure what's going on here. I think this thing was 120, and it's just a typo. It doesn't really matter. It gives us fantastic speed tier, great rapid spin, complements Urshifu in terms of finally finishing that Psychic Dark fighting core I was talking about. Fast offensive Psychics with Urshifu I think are really, really nice. So yeah, I think this thing could be really useful. Good removal for us, because right now our removal consists of Rapid Spin, Colossal, and Defog Talonflame, which is horrible. So this gives us an actual viable remover as well. I think it's good. I've been wanting to try Starmie for so long. This is our chance to do that. And then the final mon on the team, talking about those like offense killers and those kind of scary setup sweepers, Ditto is probably the best check to them around, right? You don't want to necessarily set up to whatever with your setup sweeper if you know a Ditto is going to come in and revenge sweep you with a scarf. So this just in prep kind of changes that. There was a bunch of ways we were looking at forcing things in prep, like Gothitelle we considered, all sorts of things like that. But in the end, Ditto felt like on an offense draft, it just offered so much value. And you can see this is very much an offense draft. Pillar Swine and Appleton are our only kind of fat things, and we only have Talonflame, Appleton, and Starmie with reliable recovery, so, and Porygon Z, I guess. So, but yeah, it's definitely an offensive draft, and that's the goal of this season: have fun, fast-paced games, beat everybody down, and hopefully bring home the title. Because, like I say, we've always done well in the UBL, but not quite well enough. So maybe this is our season. Week 1, we go up against Moet, someone that I think is a fantastic content creator, and honestly, I'm excited to see his side of a game against me. Just purely for selfish reasons. I love his content. So and then we have a bunch of other great people coming this season. I think it is a short season. I think it's 7 or 8 weeks. The idea being that we'll be wrapped up around perfect timing for the next DLC to drop. So another fast-paced, fun season coming your way after the GDL is all wrapped up soon. Yeah, hopefully you guys are excited for this team. Let me know what your favorite mon on our draft is. I'm definitely intrigued to see what you guys are looking forward to seeing most. Thank you so much for loafing around with me, and I'll catch you again next time.